Hey guys, good morning. It is, I believe, Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday, January 4th. Michael Clark with BAM Weather and your latest long range analysis here. Going to get right into the pattern discussion. A lot of the same continued thoughts and just updates on where thoughts are and where things are going. Like what I'm seeing, the struggle with the Vortex and the MJO has been something I've been battling internally for a couple weeks. The models today have a strong phase 4 MJO. They're also very cold. So join the fun. Join the fun. Welcome. Welcome to the long range forecast. As always, you're going to get my analysis as a meteorologist. I don't give two craps if it gets warm or if it gets cold. I'm giving you the outcomes and I'm showing you the actual official forecast products we sent to our customers on Monday. So you'll see we're still standing by that, and we'll kind of show you that as well. So let's get right into this, guys. Look at the European total snowfall forecast here just over the next 3.5 days. We got the snowstorm coming into the north and east. Some more recent runs here up into the interior northeast have some decent snows. All right, it's not going to be a bad snow event for the first one of the year. The coastal regions, you're really going to kind of miss out here due to the warmth. But good inter region snow there, mid Atlantic. There'll be a secondary weak low developed that will offer up a 1 to 3 inch snow across the Ohio Valley here as we go throughout the day on Saturday. This is my big focus. This is the trend of the Arctic oscillation forecast from the European ensemble. You can see with each and every new run, the trend gets stronger and stronger with the negative AO or the Arctic oscillation. That's a great signal for a solid supply of Arctic air, and any storms that come through are going to have big winter components to them. All right, this is a big signal. And I think it's already starting to go to work. You can see how negative it is by the 11th. Look here, the evening of the 9th, a big storm, a really big storm, American and European ensembles indicating that right through here, there could probably be a massive winter storm, very, very, very impactful winter storm, maybe even blizzard-like conditions. I think that it stands that this area of low pressure, the center of the low, I think stands to have some clicks to the east and southeast as we get a little further out or closer to this, if you will, due to the Arctic high that may be coming down in here, the big negative Arctic oscillation, kind of shoving this storm down a little bit. This is not an East Coast storm as of right now. There is an area of secondary area of low pressure that wants to try to possibly do something. As we get closer, we may want to watch that. But for now, a big storm. In fact, overnight run of the GFS model has a swath here of snows that would exceed 10 inches, kind of in the area I just generally discussed. Here's your weekend storm there with snow, again, adding on to that early next week. And another system here developing in the Central Plains. In fact, the data is very, very active with winter storms. The probability from the European ensemble of seeing 6 inches or more of snowfall over the next 15 days. The interior Northeast, you're basically topped out. The Great Lakes, you're topped out. Ohio Valley, you're in the running. You've got chances here. And Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Minnesota, 70-80% probabilities of seeing 6 or more inches of snow. Overnight weather model runs, European trends on the left. This is the model cycle difference versus the previous run. American trends on the right. Both got much colder, all right? It's about as easy as, that's about as easy as that gets, right? They got colder. Looking at HDD demands here, model projections here, gas-weighted heating degree days. Everything is pretty much saying that all systems a go for flipping the switch. I always have to be careful because I say switch the flip or switching the flip because you get mixed up. Anyways, a lot of support around the right after the storm system next week for all of the demand to go above the 10 and 30-year normals. And during really what's the coldest time of the year, all of our model projections right now are above 10 and 30-year normals. All right. It could be said possibly that some of the this here is the result of the phase 3 MJO and the appropriate timing of the vortex. I'll talk about that in just a second, because our phase 3 MJO analog during a Nino has a strong Arctic shot of air. It does, and it kind of resembles maybe something like that, But here's the thing, all right. When looking at this, I'm going to kind of go down bottom left here real quick. Move this video over. When we look at the all models and their teleconnection forecasts, everything is locked, stocked barrel on the EPO minus the Canadian ensemble. I'm not really sure what it's got up its sleeve here. It's a little strange. Arctic oscillations tanking off the charts. Negative NAO, Greenland block. PNA is fluctuating from positive to negative, possibly back to neutral. And this is a stormy pattern signal regardless. Okay. Here, this has been the issue for really the last 10 days, is just the major fluctuation in the EPO forecasts. Going from positive to negative to neutral. That's the EPS trends. Look at all these attempts to go negative, and it ended up positive. The GEFS has been wild. You've had a lot of neutral to positive runs. Now all of a sudden you've got a lot of negative runs. A lot of this has been due to the tropical forcing in the model. Okay, GFS ensemble on the left, European ensemble on the right. Here's what we're seeing. We're seeing a progression of the tropical forcing, the MJO. It's a strong phase 4 of the MJO. All right, and we've taken a lot of heat for this. Well, yeah, it's not phase 4, you idiot. I've even got one guy that just over on the East Coast. He just, every post I make about this, he's totally up in arms. It's kind of comical, really. But the latest European, I'll bring it over here and show it to you. Looks like this for the MJO. And so it goes, it kind of, comes back to life and goes right into a strong phase 4 of the MJO. The GEFS is doing the same thing, okay? And it's like, man, so these are mild phases of the MJO. How are the models cold? Well, let's talk about that. Let me put this into motion for you, okay? This is the loop of the polar vortex. Video's getting messed up here. Sorry about that. This is the loop of the polar vortex. Watch what happens here. We split it down, really boom, day 5, split. Lobe goes over the Great Lakes, and then it just kind of stays there. And so you have a source of the coldest air on the planet, okay? It's there. It's available for tap. The pattern is active. We've got storms about every 4 to 5 days. Those can draw that air down. The active MJO phases indicate we could be very, very active with the storm pattern, but the warmth may be muted because of the split in the PV and the lobe coming down. All right. So this is something that we've talked about for a while, and it looks just as if this is going to win out right now. Unless the models come in today and just go, oh, boom, warmer trend, here we go, back to warm. Yeah, which they could do that. Absolutely could do it. It's just the way this stuff goes. All right. But if I'm a betting man by how active the pattern looks and with the split of the PV, I put my money in the cold forecast now. All right, and I put that out on Monday, and I'll show you what I put out in just a minute so you can see it. Days 1 to 5 here. Again, we're also, not only are we splitting the stratospheric polar vortex, but the tropospheric as well at 500 millibars. You see this happening here, okay? The tropospheric is almost one piece in the 1 to 5. And then by the 5 to 10, we've split it. You have one piece of the tropospheric here, tropospheric vortex here over Canada. It's still over the Great Lakes, the Hudson Bay in the 10 to 15, and you can see the result. We start warm, we shove the warm east in the 5 to 10, and then it spills in, the Arctic air spills in. This warmth east in the 5 to 10, guys, this is the 9th through the 13th or something like that of January. Okay, so the mild period that we were concerned with, it's you know this is from this is a product of this pattern, the vortex splitting and the MJO moving. Boy, I'm all over the place, aren't I, guys? Trying to help you out here, and it's not really working. There we go. That's the 5 to 10. You know, so it's not like it's cold in the 5 to 10. It's actually very mild ahead of a big storm. And then this one here in the 10 to 15 is where the storm comes through, and we dump in the Arctic air. Okay, so that's a blast of cold Arctic air, right? And the other thing is it's active. Week 2 European left, week 2 GEFS right. It's very active, no question about it. This was the 16 to 30 day outlook we put out on the 2nd. Okay. And I basically said that much of the country was going to go below normal. HDDs would go above normal, and it would be very active with precipitation. All right, you look at the orientation, there it is. I mean, that's pretty good for temperatures based on the PV split. And the precipitation pattern, well, that's pretty good too. I feel pretty good about this forecast. It'll be valid the 16th through the 29th of January. I think you're looking at a lot of winter storms and several shots of Arctic air. Okay, so winter's here to play. The evening run of the European weekly next 30 days is basically below normal temperatures for 90% of the country. Maybe warmer in New England from the NAO, but you're still going to have shots of Arctic air. Okay, and the other thing that's really fun, the GFS extended and the European extended are both very snowy. All right, they have a lot of snow. So again, to sum this up, we know this is a risk. We know the models are moving into these active phases. We can see it right here. All right, you can see it in the velocity potential anomalies. It's moving across the Pacific. There's no question about that. Right now, we believe this is the active MJO with the constant barrage of storms is tapping into the Arctic air from the split of the stratospheric and the tropospheric vortex and bringing that stuff down to play. And we're seeing a lot of that in the North Pacific because we've finally been able to lock in a negative EPO. Okay, that's the analysis for today. Share it with a friend. We'll keep you posted. I hope you get some snow, and we'll talk to you soon.